Your dog has a difficult to treat recurring ear infection. It could be caused by this serious bacteria called Pseudomonas. It is resistant to virtually every antibiotic. This is what it is. Here's the clinical signs. Most importantly, here are the natural steps that you can take at home to actually treat this disease.
Are you looking to learn more about natural pet health and wellness? You've come to the right place. Click the link to subscribe to Veterinary Secrets.
Otitis externa, or external ear infections, that's a really common problem that's presented with at our veterinary practice by our dogs coming in. I must have treated hundreds and hundreds of dogs for ear infections. But for some of these dogs, there's a type of bacteria called Pseudomonas, which can cause a real problem. Pseudomonas, it's a common normal inhabitant of the ear, but then when the right conditions are set up, i.e. an underlying allergy, or the ear canal becomes very small, also known as stenotic, it can set up as this horrible recurring otitis or ear infection, which is virtually impossible to treat. There are several studies now showing that virtually most of the common veterinary antibacterials, they do not work against Pseudomonas. It's an extremely antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Some of the clinical signs you're going to see with the dog that has Pseudomonas otitis or Pseudomonas ear infection. You have a dog that has a typical sign, serious head shaking or ear scratching. Some of the different changes though is often has a strong, really foul smelling odor. Typically what I would see in veterinary practice is these dogs would almost have what looks like pus come out of their ear. For most of the dogs with the Pseudomonas otitis, there is serious swelling. It's very painful. There's a whole lot of inflammation within the ear canals. In some of the dogs, you might even see ulceration. And many of the dogs with Pseudomonas, they also have middle ear infection called otitis media. The most common sign of a dog that has an inner ear infection, otitis media, is a dog that gets chronic recurring external ear infections. To make a definitive diagnosis of Pseudomonas, in some cases in practice, you take a swab of the ear, you can pretty good guess based on what you see, and or send that off for culture sensitivity. There's three big principles in terms of treating Pseudomonas ear infections. Number one, the ear needs to be especially clean. We're focused on how to do a proper ear cleaning, especially with the dog that has Pseudomonas. Number two, you need proper antibacterial treatment. So we're going to talk about some of the holistic ones, which are effective against Pseudomonas. And then number three, you need to treat any of the inner ear swelling. Because when you have a stenotic, very narrowed inner ear, that's going to make your dog predisposed to recurring ear infections. Cleaning the ear is especially important for dogs that have Pseudomonas otitis. Number one, you want to remove the source of reinfection. As long as some of it's there, it's going to get reinfected. Number two, you need to get rid of all that debris, all that bacterial infection, because what happens is that then the topical antibacterials, whatever is being used, they can't properly kill what's all present. With all that debris, it blocks it. And it's one of the big things about Pseudomonas is it's very difficult for most antibiotics to even get in through the cell wall and actually kill that bacteria. So the ear needs to be properly, thoroughly clean if we're ever going to treat this infection. For many of the dogs that I would see in practice, if they also had inner ear infections called otitis media, they would have to be put under anesthesia and have a deep, thorough ear cleaning. But I'm hoping your dog isn't at that state yet. So number one, I'm going to show you how to make a home ear cleanser. And number two, show you exactly how you're supposed to be doing it properly at home. Our home ear cleanser is based on using acetic acid, also known as vinegar. And there are multiple studies showing that vinegar is especially effective against Pseudomonas. And in fact, in veterinary practice, we actually use vinegar for some of the dogs with recurring ear infections, especially when we suspected it was Pseudomonas. It works that well because part of the problem is many of the oral antibiotics, i.e. ones even like enrofloxacin or Baytril, this big high-powered antibiotic, they couldn't get into the ear, so they couldn't get into and kill that bacteria in the first place. Number two, topically, you'd put the injectable form in a topical form and putting that into the ear. They couldn't penetrate through the cell wall and kill that bacteria. That's how potent a bacteria is. A bunch of different studies, even in people that get recurring Pseudomonas ear infections, where the only thing that worked is vinegar. So yeah, that's going to be the basis of our cleanser. Number one, we're starting with green tea. It's anti-inflammatory, it's soothing for the ear, and it's also got some great antibacterial properties. It may actually help kill some of that Pseudomonas. 1 cup of the green tea, I've let it sit steep and cool for 20 minutes. Next, we have our raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. This is the most important part of our natural ear cleanser because it is specifically antibacterial and it'll work against Pseudomonas. 2 tablespoons of the ACV. Next, we have the all-natural Castile soap. It's a gentle, mild cleanser. It's going to help us remove some of that debris. And that's what's really important for Pseudomonas ear infections. 1 teaspoon of the Castile soap. We want to soothe all that ear inflammation, and the aloe, it does a great job of doing that. 2 tablespoons of the aloe. 2 tablespoons. Last but not least, we have the gentle astringent witch hazel. The important thing about witch hazel is going to help dry out that ear, get rid of some of that excess moisture. That's going to help better allow the acetic acid, the vinegar, to kill that Pseudomonas. 1 teaspoon of the witch hazel. Mix the solution well. Next, get yourself a syringe. It's a lot easier to flush anything. Flush ears for sure. Using a syringe, this is a 10cc syringe. I'm going to fill it with our ear wash mixture. So the big thing with cleaning an ear, especially a dog that has an ear infection from Pseudomonas, you need to fill up the ear canal with substantial amount of ear wash fluid. That's why we've got 10 cc's drawn up in a syringe here. You need to completely fill the ear canal by tilting your dog's head back. I'm not going to do it with Tulip because her ear is actually quite healthy right now. You're then going to massage the ear really well, and you're going to massage and massage it. You're going to do this for a full 60 seconds. You need to thoroughly rub that ear really, really, really well. And you need to keep that fluid within the ear for 1 full minute. After the 60 seconds has gone by, you can then allow your dog to shake. He's going to shake his head. You're going to go to 2x2 gauze, your cotton balls, and you're going to rub and rub. You're going to wipe away as much debris as possible. The big thing here, we're just cleaning out all that debris. Removing as much as you can. Thoroughly clean that ear. So you need to be flushing your dog's ear minimum once every 24 hours. That's once a day. You need to be doing that for 2 weeks, 14 days minimum. That's the single biggest thing you're gonna help actually treat your dog that has this recurring ear infection, especially when it's caused from Pseudomonas. Step 2, this is topical and oral antimicrobial therapy. For topical antimicrobial therapy, we're beginning using the apple cider vinegar, but this time in a much more concentrated form. 2 teaspoons, which is about 10 mils, and put that into my little cup. So 1 part apple cider vinegar, the other part water. We're gonna have a 50% dilution. Now we're gonna put in 2 teaspoons of water. Here's our concentrated ACV, and this is what's going to topically kill that Pseudomonas. Draw your 50-50 ACV water mixture up into a syringe again. You're going to seed it at the base of your dog's ear. You're going to squirt in 5 to 10 drops. You're then going to rub the base of the ear really well. You're going to be doing this 2 to 4 times a day for 14 days. The big thing here is first you've gone ahead, you've cleaned the ear really thoroughly. Then once it's clean, you've dried it out with your swab or your cotton balls. Then you're putting in your topical ACV. But you need to clean the ear first, then apply the ACV. In veterinary practice, we used to make up a topical concoction, which included a solution called tris-EDTA. It's a chemical structure which aids in helping break down the cell walls of Pseudomonas. And then we would add in an injectable form of antibiotic called Batril or enofloxacin. We put some of that in. And sometimes we also might add in some type of topical steroid. But we'd be giving the injectable form, but not via an injection. We'd be using it topically because it seems in many of the dogs, the only thing that would work against Pseudomonas was topical treatment. But one interesting study I looked at, they're actually humans, so people get the same thing. They get recurring Pseudomonas ear infections. The only thing that worked was topical vinegar or acetic acid, like compared to everything else. And this person had a chronic ongoing case Pseudomonas otitis. They treated themselves with vinegar and that's what cured them. So yeah, do not discount the acetic acid or the vinegar. Then our oral natural antibacterial, we're using bee propolis. It's been well studied for its awesome antibacterial properties. I've yet to find any specific studies that show propolis is effective against Pseudomonas. But that being said, there is virtually no conventional antibiotics that work really well against Pseudomonas. So as far as I'm concerned, propolis is as good as there is, and it's got a whole lot better without all those secondary antibiotic side effects. So we're going to be using propolis. I would suggest doses of 100 milligrams per 10 pounds of body weight twice daily for 14 to 21 days. Tula's a little over 20 pounds, closer to 25. She'd need 250 milligrams twice a day or one 500 milligram capsule. Then the last part of treating these dogs that have recurring Pseudomonas ear infections is dealing with all that secondary ear inflammation in terms of these ear canals, which are very narrowed and stenotic. They don't have adequate airflow. They just allow for recurring infections. So you need to do something for that. So I'm going to show you a couple options. First, consider CBD orally. CBD is a pretty decent anti-inflammatory, can help take down some of that ear inflammation. Standard CBD dose, 3 milligrams per 10 pounds of body weight twice daily. That would be 1 drop twice a day of our supplement. Licorice root extract has also got some great anti-inflammatory properties to it. It's considered the natural corticosteroid. So it's something you can also use orally as well, and I would suggest it. That's pretty standard licorice root dose. We're looking at about 1/4 ml of tincture per 10 pounds of body weight. I would be giving that twice daily for a dog that had otitis externa from Pseudomonas. And you want to do that for the full 14 days. And the last thing I wanted to mention was this, just a topical corticosteroid. This is OTC, hydrocortisone, 1%. You could also topically put that into your dog's ear, especially if you flipped up their ear and you noticed that the ear canal was especially stenotic and small. It's going to be very safe because you're applying the steroid topically. It can help open up that ear canal. It could make a big difference to stop this thing from recurring and recurring and recurring. So if your dog has recurring ear infections, if it's especially smelly, if it has this almost like purulent discharge, very well it could be Pseudomonas. Follow the steps I just shared. Potentially you could actually treat your dog at home. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets of how to treat Pseudomonas ear infections in dogs at home. Click up there to subscribe, hit the bell to sign up for notifications, and when you click that link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.